Now this is the fly I'm going to be tying. This is basically a spider pattern as we call it, but it's a beetle. It represents beetles. If you want to fish the whole lochs in Scotland and Ireland and the UK and England, there's always beetles around the lochs and the lakes and even the rivers. And this is a great pattern to have. Now, they're basically a cocky bendy or a cocky bundu. You can have it dark. It's a cocky bendy hackle. I don't know if you can see a wee touch of brown in the natural feather there. This is the dark version. This is just a dark brown. It's a nice colour. I'll show you the remains of the fly that I'm tying. I always keep a hold. These are flies that either I get back, or same day we can have more of these, or I've caught fish on them and could you tie some. Now this is the one without a tag. I'm tying them with tags at the moment, so you've got to have both. Now you can see it's well chewed, and that's what the brown trout do. So anyway, size 12s, 14s, two of the main sizes. You can go less, you can go more, bigger, because beetles are all sizes. And this is a great pattern for a beetle. So anyway, I'm going to be tying it because of the red tag at the back. I'm going to be using red thread, so when it's in your box you can tell them what ones is what. And so you don't need to rumble about and try and find what one's got the red tag and what one's not. So anyway, it's the Uni 80. Simply start at the eye, come down, say about there. Now I've got this fine red tinsel. It's an actual tinsel, and it's ideal as long as you don't drop it in the floor. And I'll show you it on the spool. I've had it for a long time, and it's really robust. It's strong. But if you haven't got that, you can use just the red thread. You can come round the bend with the thread and varnish it. It will give you a nice bright tag. Use red holographic. Use a Unimylar tinsel. There's lots of tinsels you can use. Now what I do is take it down to just before the barb of the hook, and then I come down, come back up, nice and tight, and then catch this in. And if you're using the mylar, a wee touch of varnish on there, and it will last that wee bit longer. I'm just going to tidy this up, tie the tail in. Now the tail's just a yellow. This is a salmon floss that I have. It's quite stiff. It's an old floss, but you just use whatever floss you have. So there, when you tie it from this point down, and making sure it stays on top. Now, as I say, it's quite a heavy floss, so it's going to build the body up. But basically that's what I want, because you are representing a beetle, and the beetles have got a fat body, so trim it just slightly by the bend of the hook. Now as you see, it's quite straight, so what you do is just use your finger, push it back, bring it back down. This'll, once you start to cast it, it will fluff up. So we'll do this, open out, catches the light really well. Now you can use a golden pheasant crest, or you can use hackle fibres as well. So it's up to yourself. Now I'm using a fine or a small copper wire for a rib, basically to protect the body. Get my thread right at where I want it to start, so I catch in the wire. Peacock, a couple of peacock herring fibres, or lengths. You tie these in by the tip. Catch them on the side, and then wind up. Now I want to basically thicken the body with the herring, so what I like to do is just quickly run up, and I'm winding towards myself, come back down, so here we are, up against the tail, and then come back up, to this point. Now to tie it off, because I'm winding towards myself, I have to come over the herring with a turn, then a turn on the hook, which locks that in. Do the same again and again. Trim away peacock herring. You bring the wire up the normal way, same way you wind your thread. Now this will protect the peacock herring. You want to come up there a good 5-6 turns. Stroke back the fibres here, just bringing the wire up. a 90° bend into the wire. That locks it in nice and tight. Then bend and break away, keeping the thread tight. And there we are. Got a wax on my thread. Now, what I'm going to do is roll my fingers through the herring just to lay it back slightly. This will sit back when you go to fish it. So you've got a nice colour, good aiming point at the back as well as the tail. Now for the hackle, now you could use a dark, you could use black, you can use, in this case, this is it's a chestnut brown coloured, just a Chinese neck that I actually found this one at one of the fairs. The hackles are really good. It's a nice colour. It's a colour that, I mean, when you're in these bargain buckets, when they're £2 or £3 each, you come across a nice colour like that, you lift it out. I mean, you'll not get a huge amount of flies out it, but you will get enough for yourself. Just take away the fluff. Leave enough stem to tie it in. A wee bit of wax, catch it on. Length of the fibre can be quite long, it can be short, it's up to yourself. It works. Now what I'm doing here is just folding the fibre through my fingers. Now this is a cock hackle, I know. It's these chickens that run about the farmyard, like basically, they're not super stiff, they're kind of an in-between, and they can easily be used for dries and they can be used in wets as well. So as you see, I folded the fibre back, stroking back these fibres as I wind towards the eye. Now don't be shy with the fibre. These wee brown trout like a bit of movement in the fly. So what I'm doing is removing the hackle pliers, folding the tip of the hackle back, and then this will lock it in. Just break that off. Keeping the thread tight, just keep going. Quick finish. Now you can see it's very sitting up like a dry fly hackle really. So once you start to fish this, it will lay back. But what I'll show you, I'll use the hairdryer just to show you how it lays back once it's been fished, and how to get it to sit nice. So you've got the hairdryer. So just switch it on. Push the fibres towards the heat, and roll your fingers through, and you'll see how it sits back. Just touching the tail up, because the heat will make the tail fluff out even more. Much is the same as when you go to fish it. And there we are. A nice wee fly. Then it's just a matter of a wee bit of varnish on the head. Just clear varnish obviously. As I say, the red head makes it easier to find the one with the red tag. If you want the one without the red tag, just use a black thread. There we are. And that's there. It's just a variant of the cocky bendy or cocky bundu. You see, you can use the darker hackle. It's up to yourself. There's, as I say, lots of feathers you can use. I mean, there's the cocky bendy. It's very little marking on it. It's a dark brown. So mess about, or you can use dyed black, dyed brown. Small partridge hackle in front of this works really well. There's a few hackles you could put on it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. It's certainly worth having. Tie this fly, both for wild brown trout, rainbows, whatever you fish for. If there's beetles around, this is a well known, it's been about for more years than myself, and it'll always be there, it'll always catch fish. So thank you for watching.